Good Monday morning. It's Dr. Bill Williams here on the Influencers Podcast. Glad to be back with you this morning. Got a great show today. We're going to bring on Ronen Wasserman, founder of Bizman and SR Professional Marketing, coming to us from Washington, D.C. area, I think, is it? Let's look and see. Hello, Ronen.
Hello, hello. How is it going?
And you're in Washington, D.C. area, is that right?
I'm in Maryland, Rockville, Maryland.
Right nearby.
hmm
Very good. Well, we're glad you up there and having a good time joining us today. I've been kind of studying over your website, and I'm very impressed, I have to say, from the very beginning. Very organized, very in depth. So let's get on, talk about Bizman and SR Professional Marketing. I want people to know kind of how you got started in this, first of all, and want to bring out some of your expertise to share with our audience.
All right. So, make a long story short, I started in the marketing world back in 2002. I've been working as a marketing person for about 7 years, and then I started doing marketing for some high-tech companies. At the beginning, some basic marketing, and then after 3 years, I decided to move into the marketing automation world. I started as a marketing automation expert at one of the top niche companies back then. That type of company actually brought like 1% of, you know, the top 1% for every industry or for every type of work. So I started there with not a lot of experience, but I guess they liked my personality. I don't know. And I've been working there for like 3 years as a marketing automation expert. I had 3 weeks to study the platform that they used back then, which was Marketo. And after 3 weeks, I had to start supporting 18 team members like full time, which was a little challenging, but I was able to do it. Um, at the time, it was a lot of work for one person, and I felt like I need some extra help. So I got a couple of agencies who helped me, but I wasn't happy with the type of service that I received, mainly because they weren't transparent. I was not sure what I was paying for. They're not very professional, and they weren't very responsive with everything that I needed them to do. So after 3 years working like this, I decided that I can actually do things better. So I left that company and I opened my own agency, SR Professional Marketing, and started providing services for any companies who needed help with the marketing automation world, whether if it's Marketo, Hubspot, or other platforms. And I did bring those things that were missing from me, which were the transparency, professionalism, and responsiveness to the table, and companies really liked it. So that was the beginning of SR Professional Marketing so far.
I listen to a lot of people talk about their marketing company, their agency, and then I look at their website or I ask them about their own personal marketing efforts, and they don't match up sometimes with what they say they do for others. But when I looked at your website and noticed the hosting of the blog and the content of the blogs, I really started to feel confident that you pretty much walk the walk and talk the talk.
Yeah, because I'm a truly believer that if you provide the positive stuff that companies are looking for, they're not just going to be happy with what they receive. They will stay with you for longer. So that's what I'm trying to bring to the table for many years, and that's part of the reason why eventually I also founded Bizman. And I'm going to tell the story in a second. But basically, I was looking for the next level, for the next extra efforts, where companies could get more transparency of what is going on. So imagine, as a marketing automation company, we provide lots of services to many companies, and those services are not just press the button. It's much more than this. You need to be on top of things. You need to spend some time building stuff. You need some time training your company, your clients. So it was important for me to provide some sort of a direct and clear transparency of what is going on, what are you actually paying for. So I started within SR Pro managing all of my time and my team's time through spreadsheets. Very simple, very straightforward, and it was very easy at the beginning when we were small. However, when we grew up and when we became like much bigger, it has been a challenge, because imagine I worked with 10 team members back then, and I needed to get into each and every one's spreadsheet, copy and paste, copy their hours and paste it into the client's spreadsheet. It took too long. So what I did was I went to my development team and I told them, hey, we need to find a solution. We need to find a solution of a platform that will manage the team's time and the client's time at the same place. So obviously there were, and there still are, some platforms that do it. So I checked it, but none of them provided exactly what I needed. So we started with what is called today Bizman. The website is bizman.io. And what we did was we built a platform that manages every second, every minute of our team, each individually, and our clients, with the option to see every single thing at the same place. That was the first thing. Then we said, okay, so now we have all the time and we can manage the time. But what about the tasks? Should we connect it to all the task management tools that are available? And then we started doing so, and it worked. But it wasn't, again, the best, the top solution. So what we did was we actually built eventually Bizman, which is 3 types of modules at one. So instead of paying for a time management tool and a task management tool and a password management tool, it's all under the same platform with the cost of like $5 per user or something like that. It's a no-brainer. And the idea is not necessarily to explode and to make tons of money, but actually to bring some value to the market, to the industry.
Yeah, you put together a sellable package that everybody can afford, that does things that are essential. But the best part is it's all in one place.
True. Yeah. And I see a lot of value with going that direction. I see many companies who could leverage from such a solution. And our clients, they're like on the top of the world, because they know exactly why we charge them for 30 hours and not 25, or why not 35. They know exactly what is going on, which is complete transparency. And I think that's the key to success.
Yeah, you found a solution that people really do value. That's the thing. It sounds good to me. Bizman's an answer to many people's long searching concern. They didn't just happen upon it because it didn't exist before you made it.
True.
What are you going to do next? What's motivating you to move forward with, you got your own automation expertise. You're producing products now that make a difference in the marketplace. What's moving you forward? What motivates you?
So it's a complex answer to a complex question, but basically I want to grow both companies to the point where they could be just self-sufficient. I want them to be successful. And what motivates me is that I'm changing in a way the way that the industry is going to work, because more and more companies see the value of working with truthful companies and professional companies like SR Pro. And with the help of Bizman, this shows that type of transparency and successful engagement with clients. And I believe that many companies will see that value. And since it's a no-brainer cost, many companies eventually will use Bizman, and they'll also, it will impact the industry in a way. So that's what motivates me.
Yeah, it sounds like that's going to be the same as our company. We want to be the correction to the corruption, meaning that people are kind of ripping off their customers just to make a lot more money, but not giving them such a valuable product. They just got them over a barrel, and they're trying to get that monthly subscription at a very high price. You bundled things together, made them more value than anything that they can get online right now.
Yeah, and I'm a builder. I know how to build businesses. So when I look at businesses like, business models like those, they started small. All of those companies you're referring to, they started small with a small amount, and then slowly they increased it because eventually they grew and they needed, more money. But if you build the company correctly from day one, I think you can always provide like a good solution with a decent price and grow together with the market.
What would be three of the success secrets that you're building your company on? You talk about value. What else?
I think, as I said before, the transparency, the professionalism, and the responsiveness is the key of every single company building. So that's part of the three success secrets. I also think that you need to, that's what I'm doing, follow your dreams, like have your own dream, and set some sort of high targets and bars so that you could achieve them. And also like plan the path, be truthful and fully transparent, while keep standing. Don't overfloat. Like try to be as realistic as possible. I think those are like very.
So you're saying keep the hype down and over deliver when you do have a product.
Yeah, true.
What about your company motto? Do you have anything particular that you have set as the motto?
I don't think there is a specific motto, but I could say that the previous company's name was Responsive Online Marketing. The responsiveness here is the key. When I see a client that is sending an email on Thursday afternoon, and if I see that my team did not answer to them, let's say by Monday morning, that drives me crazy because that's not a responsive situation. I want the clients to feel the service that we provide. So being responsive is one of the top thing in my agenda, in a way, my motto.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of people think of automation, they think of hands off, nobody's paying attention, and it's not really something that's going to be personal. And then you say responsive, which is the other side. It's like somebody's got their hands on it personally, they're interested, they're following up. So you have the best of both worlds, your automation and your personal touch.
True.
Is automation coming to the forefront more now that we have AI in everything?
Well, I was at the latest inbound event back in September 2023 in Boston. I think that about 40% of the discussions were about AI. I see a lot of potential with involving and including AI with some of the activities such as content writing or prospecting or deciding who we should call first, stuff like this. And I've heard some rumors and comments about the option of using AI to actually build some marketing automation programs and or campaigns. Having said that, I feel that the AI is still not at a point where it could take over the marketing automation world. But who knows what will happen in 3, 4, 5 years from now.
Sure. Yeah. I think AI has been around a long time, but people didn't really pay much attention to it until the last 2 years. And what it can do now will be dwarfed by what it will do in 2 or 3 or 4 years. So we have to keep aware, right? Tell us why at this point in time in 2024, somebody should buy from your company, from SR Professional.
I think it's because of the mix I mentioned before. When a company, and it's not just about myself, when a company is combining the transparency, the professionalism, and the responsiveness, and you see the same impact for more than 1 month, like for the long term, that means you could trust that company. And I find that these 3 action items or points are so crucial for any company, and that's what I'm trying to keep from day one.
Excellent. And you have an ideal client avatar that you're going after. Who would that be?
So for this, I have to split the discussion to 2. So if we're talking about SR Professional Marketing, basically every company who's using or needs to be using a marketing automation platform such as Marketo, Hubspot, and others could leverage by working with us. We also provide some other services such as development and SEO, but that's not the bread and butter. The bread and butter is within the marketing automation world. So as I said, ideal client, every company from any industry who's using those tools or need to be using those tools or need to improve their marketing operations with or without that tool. If we're speaking about Bizman, the target audience of Bizman is practically companies like SR Pro to begin with, like agencies, marketing agencies, who need to manage their time better, their team members' time, their clients' time. They need some help with managing their business. That's why I called the tool Bizman, because it's a business management tool, as well as task management and password management. So agencies are number one in the list, but also even law firms could find this very interesting.
Anybody who has to punch a time clock for billing clients.
True, with the option to manage tasks, many tasks under the same roof.
Okay, and I'm very aware that lawyers have a lot of different tasks that have to be met with their judges, opposing attorneys, clients. It's a large thing, so I can understand the legal profession being a prime target for you guys. And in terms of marketing, I have an interesting viewpoint how marketing firms market for themselves. How do you find clients?
So it depends. I mean, obviously, we want to have as many clients as we need. On the other side, we don't accept every single client. They need to be in a certain profile, budget, and structure in a way. But how do we find most of them? If you remember, I mentioned before that when I was working about a decade ago at one of the companies, they brought the 1%. So that was my beginning, because we were like the top notch of the industries, like sales, marketing, everything, development. So once I was out from there, I had a huge community and set of connections that I could use to grow my company. So it started as a word of mouth worldwide, and it grew. I did have a store in one of the freelancers' websites that brought us a lot of business as well. But until today, our number one source of traffic and lead source is practically word of mouth. We do have some campaigns, Google Ads campaigns and social media campaigns and some SEO that brings us some leads from time to time. And also the partnership. We have an amazing partnership with Hubspot. We are a Hubspot Diamond partner, which also brings us a lot of leads. However, our number one source is still word of mouth. Imagine many clients that are working with us for several years leave their current company, they move to a new one, and they just bring us there.
I understand that exactly. As a dentist for 50 years, I was a managed by numbers kind of guy, and I was interested in marketing. So we knew our numbers, we knew exactly where people came from, and 50% of our new clients, new patients came from word of mouth. And we supplemented the other 50% with, everything else we did. Being a student of J. Conrad Levinson, I was into guerrilla marketing. So we had a lot of options out, doing a lot of things. And so with his admonition, be seen all the time and being seen everywhere, you didn't do one thing. You did many things to be successful. And you're pretty much doing the same thing.
Yeah, I believe word of mouth is always the best way to market yourself. You don't even have to work very hard to do it. All you have to do is to provide a good service with the things that I mentioned before.
Well, tell us exactly what your product is or service so we can actually visualize that.
Once again, I need to split it to SR Pro and Bizman. So for SR Pro, we're talking about campaign management for marketing automation tools such as Marketo and Hubspot. We're talking about lead lifecycle building and setting, alignment between sales and marketing, connecting the marketing automation tool with any type of CRM, such as Salesforce and others, Microsoft Dynamics, for example. Implementation of new marketing automation tools, some add-ons of the marketing automation tools, scoring mechanism, lead nurturing, what else? Building like advanced APIs for those clients and for those instances, cleaning their database from duplicates and others, and so on. It's an endless thing, including training, reporting, and etc. For Bizman, as I mentioned before, Bizman is a time management tool, including that is combined with a task management tool and a password management tool. So this is like the initial part that can help any company manage itself better. So every company owner could actually manage the company better while seeing how many hours each team member worked every day, every month, how much time he or she spent on a certain account. And then this helps them to actually charge the client accordingly. And in the coming future, there will be some AI layers that will raise flags and say, hey, team member ABC, I don't know, Dave, is not maximizing his time, and we need to do X, Y, and Z, etc. Or client, I don't know, client XYZ is on a retainer basis of 30 hours, but actually we've spent 25 hours and it's just the 18th of the month. So that's a problem.
So, you can get some drill down value knowing about what each employee is doing with your system. You mentioned HubSpot and Marketo, two of the automation platforms for marketing. Take Marketo as an example. What's the one thing that you most value about that system?
So Marketo has many pros and cons. The main thing that I value with Marketo is that it's very, on one hand, it's very technical. So if you wake me up at 4 a.m., I know exactly what to do because I'm a technical person. But when we're talking about Marketo as a tool, I think the best thing is that it has like a structure, and the structure is very organized. So you can actually build a marketing program, and within that marketing program, you can have several items that are very helpful for any Marketo user to understand what is the flow. Like you have a landing page and an email and a form and etc. Everything under the same folder. While in HubSpot it's a little different, as an example.
Exactly. And then if you look at the other side of the coin, what are the missing features in something like Marketo that you wish were in there?
So Marketo is well known about their customer service, which is not as good as you would imagine. So I would definitely urge them to improve their service. On the other side, I think they lost a lot of many clients in the past couple of years. So it looks like the industry trend is moving away from Marketo into HubSpot, and that's why I became a partner with HubSpot. I think that Marketo, on one hand, is very technical and sometimes too technical, and it requires a lot of deep understanding of the tool, which on one hand brings me a lot of work, but on the other hand, that makes the tool too expensive, too complex to manage, and they also have a problem with their database, which means they actually charge for every single contact they have. Even if you have contacts with no email addresses at all, you're still going to pay for them. Or if you have the email addresses but they're bounced, you're still going to pay for them. So that's a major problem with the tool.
It's great to get those kinds of insights from an industry professional, and that's kind of what we're looking for in our podcast, is some reality plugged into a lot of the can do, but what's missing and what would be better. That's what we're looking for. So thanks for sharing that. One of the things that I'm always interested in is marketers' experience with revenue, and what percentage of revenue people spend on marketing for one, and then pay digital media within marketing. Can you give us a little insight as to what you recommend to have a company spend on marketing, and then what percentage of the marketing budget should go to paid digital media? Some guidelines.
So I don't have clear numbers to share, but I could share between 5 to 15% overall is a reasonable number from my expertise, from my experience. But it's not enough just to spend. You have to see, you have to zoom out for a second and look, put like the hat of the marketing operations, marketing automation for a second, and think of the whole flow and see how things should be done correctly. Like don't just put an ad and send them to a landing page and that's it. Build the entire architecture and strategy behind it. Like, okay, if they landed on the page and the bounce rate is 60%, then let's do anything to reduce it to 50%, to do two things. First of, to make them try and convert at least one or two more a day, and B, show the advertising platform that the bounce rate is better than other competitors, so you'll actually pay less per every click.
Yeah, it sounds like you got your finger on the pulse of what works and what doesn't work. I mean, you test and you modify, and you test and you modify.
True, and you need to add some more layers. Like, it's not enough to get them to the page and fill out a form. You want to build an entire architecture and strategy that what happens afterwards. Okay, so they place an order once and then they're gone, but you still have thousands of people in your database. So let's try to find ways to engage with them, maybe by remarketing, maybe by email marketing, SMS marketing, etc.
To me, user experience on a website is a make it or break it concept. If you can't navigate, if you can't find stuff, if it's not user friendly, intuitive, then you pretty much wasted your time building a website. How do you feel about that?
User intuitive is critical. User experience is critical, but also we need to incentivize them somehow to do what we want them to do. Because even if your website is amazing, but there is no real incentive there, you may miss everything, and you just spend time and efforts and money to bring them into your website, but it didn't do what you want them to do.
So you're saying don't just entertain, but capture their attention to actually create a call to action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Every page should have a call to action.
Should be, or at least there should be a strategy. Even if some of them don't have, then maybe there is a small link that just take them to somewhere else where there is. But also there are now all those smart chat bots or maybe chat apps that are within the website. That's also a call to action, but it's not enough to have the call to action. You still need to find a way to incentivize them to reach out to that. For example, the exit intent, I'm sure you're familiar with that. If someone is about to leave the website and the browser identifies that, then we could show them a pop-up that convince them to stay for additional $10 off their purchase, as an example.
Yeah. They're always calling me to come back in the room. Don't leave.
Yeah.
How do you deliver the 5-star client experience at say Bizman?
So Bizman, if we were talking about SR Pro before, we mentioned the transparency, the professionalism, and the responsiveness. When we're talking about Bizman, the core idea is to bring the reality in your face, in the customer's face, so they could actually see like what's going on with their team, what is going on with their clients, what is like on a daily basis, what is the status of everything, how the company is doing, what is the projection, and that's something that we will have soon. Is the projection by the end of the month? So will we do 50 grand, 100 grand, 1 million? I don't know. There is a projection based on what we have made so far. So this is a core value as part of the product. So if you're asking me how do we deliver a 5-star client experience, I'm mainly focused in Bizman on product features. What am I missing? I'm my biggest client. SR Pro is the biggest client of Bizman, and I've been using Bizman for 4.5 years now. So I know what I needed, and that's mainly, I think it's like 70% of what other people need.
So you're trying to take the mystery out of business and to make the owner, the CEO, have total awareness of what his team's doing at all times. So it puts you at ease, puts you at mental ease, so you can actually understand what people are doing, how your company's doing, based on a fairly simple process of just putting it out in front of you, so you can actually see what's going on real time.
Yeah, and I mentioned before the word transparency. It's like an internal transparency in this case.
Sounds like a winner. So let's focus over on personal things now. What are you grateful for today, Ronen?
I'm grateful for being healthy. And I'm grateful that, every time I have a new idea, I have the measure and tools to develop them. It's not my first time doing some sort of journey, like a startup journey. So I'm grateful to be in that position.
Excellent. Excellent health is really the only thing we really need in the end. How do you start your day? What's your routine?
Usually, I wake up sometime between 6 and 7 a.m. To tons of emails on my phone. I have a few minutes to wake up and take care of some things. Usually, my meetings begin around 8 a.m., sometimes earlier, because I have teams from all over the globe. I need to handle sometimes some critical issues from other regions. Usually, I completely book my calendar, completely lock my calendar from around 1 p.m. so that I could actually work and handle some emails. So my entire morning, usually from 8 till 12 or 1 p.m., is pretty busy with calls, and then afterwards, emails.
Yeah, as a dentist, I was always tied to my schedule, and I would arrive at the office at 8 and leave at 5, and I had 3 columns of patients booking 10-minute slots, doing specific items, and I lived by the calendar for 50 years. And then when I retired, which was this year, I got a new calendar, and definitely I still live by the calendar, but it's much more wide open. And booking appointments, like you say, clearing your calendar is it's a freedom thing. Used to had no freedom ever until 5 o'clock. Then I had total freedom. So your calendar, it's a part of your day. Which calendar system are you using right now?
Outlook.
Outlook. What about something that ties in? You're going to put it into Bizman at some point?
I haven't thought about this. I will. I will think about it.
Yeah. So, do you have a mentor, anybody you're following right now that's kind of a key person in your life?
So I'm following the industry. There are several, experts that I look around at, usually through LinkedIn, but there is no specific name that I can think of at the moment.
If you're going to give advice to yourself as you look back at how you've done and know what you know now, what would you tell your 20-year-old self to do?
So I would say think big, be positive, um, set high targets. I was like, I'm 45. So when I was 25, I wasn't the same as I am right now, obviously, but I had less confidence. I was looking, for my way. And if today's Ronan would have met me then and said to me, think big, be positive, set high targets, I think I could achieve more than I had. I had.
Go big or go home. Like it. What do you want to be remembered for, Rona, when it's all said and done?
Um, as an entrepreneur, as someone who was not limited to any industry rules, because every time there was and still is a limitation, I am thinking of solutions. Like one of my next ideas is how to deal with spam. We are all getting hundreds of spam emails every week. And I have some ideas how to deal with that. So that's another thing I would want to really remember for, like the entrepreneur who found solutions to complex items.
The spam killer. We might like that. Keep working on it. How can we support you? Give us your link to your websites and things like that.
So SR Professional Marketing is the website is srpro.marketing, straight as that. And Bizman is Bizman, Bizman.io. That's our, these
.io.
are, yeah.
Very good. Well, I hope everybody that's listening will check those two websites out. I found them very interesting, very comprehensive, and full of good information. The blog section was one of the highlights for me. I like a website with good blogs. Now, how was your experience being on the Influencer podcast today? You were certainly very influential in your sphere, so hope people will enjoy this past 40 minutes. What would you say about being on the show?
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure, even on personal note, it's been very calm and nice. And thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Absolutely. By chance, do you follow basketball? March Madness is here.
I follow the Wizards because I live next to DC. I'm a fan of Denny Avdia, one of the players there. So I'm following, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the college basketball scene. And of course, all the conference championships just ended yesterday around the country, and they're starting into the NCAA playoffs. And I'm wearing the logo for my school where I went, Auburn. Of course, they won the SEC championship this year, which was the first time they've done that in 5 years. So we're all saying, War Eagle. I was wondering if you ever heard of Coach Bruce Pearl.
Coach Bruce Pearl, no.
He's our coach at Auburn, and he travels around the world and takes his kids on basketball tours to Europe. And he was in Israel 2 years ago, took his team all throughout and played the national team, the boys team, semi-professional teams. So he had a good time taking our team over to Israel. And he's just a great coach that motivates his players quite a bit. And didn't know if you were a fan of college basketball or not, but I was interested to know. The Wizards are a fun team to watch, aren't they?
Depends. Right now, this year they're not doing very well. But I was a basketball fan for many years when I was younger. But in the past decade or so, I've been so busy, I didn't have too much time. But I am following the Wizards every once and then.
Absolutely. Well, let me give you the last word before we talk to our audience. I want to let you have the platform, then I'll come back when you're done.
Last word. So thank you everyone for watching this, and I hope you'll have a chance to check our website, bizman.io or srpro.marketing, each one for its thing. And thank you, Dr. Bill, for helping me and being with us today and in hosting me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone.
It's good to have you on the show, Ronen, and it's been a pleasure. I learned a lot. I hope our audience enjoyed getting a picture of Bizman and what it can do for them. Your automation concepts are right on target with where the industry is going. So if you need a leader, an expert in the field, Ronen Wasserman is your man. If you see the QR code up here, that's the automated way to get to my business card, the digital business card at OVU, which features really two things about me. And that's the Influencer podcast. All the ones we've had, 150 some odd shows, are on the Influencer podcast link. And then you can go and learn also about our AI technology, which is SaaS products that are built to enhance business. I don't know if you've seen everything we've got yet, Ronen, but I do want to mention two things that are specific that are going to change the world of video conference platform use. That's going to be OConnect. Now, we've reduced our product line to one right now. We've introduced one paid product, which is OConnect. And that product is the top one in the entire world right now, we believe, in video conferencing. So we start with that one as our first commercial version, released just last week. and it's available for a free trial right now for anyone who wants to look at the specifics. Very leading edge technology. We can hold 10,000 people for the best price. If you've got a big audience you want to attract, you can have 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people on, and it's clear as a bell. Best audio, best video. So many things about it are state of the art. The other thing I was going to mention to you as a marketer is our O Tracker, which is a Google Analytics competitor. We take and make things simple and make it more appealing and a lot easier. You talked about ease of use and not being so technical so that anybody can use it. That's what O Tracker is all about, because it's advanced, it's brand new. And so as things come out that you want to recommend, you may find O Tracker is going to be one of the ones you recommend to your clients. So just bring that to your attention and all the people watching on live stream right now. Ronen, thanks for being with us on the Influencer Podcast. We do appreciate you, and we hope everyone will check out the Bizman product.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next Influencer Podcast coming up shortly. Thanks for attending.